All right, guys, here is your review for the Module 4 exam. So I'm going to start. I'm going to go really quickly. Once you get done, you'll get the second review, and that's the one you got to do on your own. So I'm just going to work through it quickly and show you exactly what I'm looking for in the test. So hopefully this is helpful to you. Okay, so first one, it says find the first three terms of the sequence. Well, that means you've got to set up a t-chart. And we've got 1, 2, and 3. So our first three terms in the sequence, you're going to take 1 and you're going to substitute it into our function. So we've got f of 1 equals 4 minus 1 squared. So I'm replacing replacing n with 1. And in this case, we've got 1 squared is 1, 4 minus 1 is 3. So our first term is 3. Okay, so the second one, we're going to go f of 2 equals 4 minus 2 squared. Okay, well, 2 times 2, or 2 squared, is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So the second term is 0. And then our third term, f of 3 equals 4 minus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. 4 minus 9 is 5, negative 5. So our first three terms in this sequence, I'm looking for these brackets attending to precision. 3, 0, negative 5. And there you go. Okay. All right, so number 2. Each of the following is each of the following an arithmetic sequence? Show your work. Okay, here's what I mean by showing your work. You're going to say negative 7. To get to 0, you add 7. 0 to get to 7 is add 7. 7 to get to 14, you add 7. So we're adding the same thing each time? Yes, it is an arithmetic sequence. Okay, the second one. Oh, man, we got our negatives here. So negative 16 to negative 6 is negative 10. Negative 6 to positive 4. I'm sorry, we're adding 10, not negative 10. So negative 16 to negative 6 is positive 10. Negative 6 to positive 4, guess what? That's positive 10. And then positive 4 to 14 is positive 10. So we're adding 10 each time. Yes, sir, it is an arithmetic sequence. All right, our next one. You're going to go negative 2 to 4 is actually positive 6. Remember, you've got to go from negative 2, look at a number line, count up to 4. That's going to be 6 spaces. 4 to 8 is positive 4. And I can already tell it is not arithmetic because I did not get the same number here and here. So no. All right, for each of the following sequences is the common difference equal to negative 3. Here's the hint on this one. You are looking for whatever is in front of n. That's what your common difference is. That's what's going to end up being d. Well, negative 3 is in front of n here. Yes, it is. What's in front of n here? Well, there's a 1. So the common difference is not negative 3. No, it isn't. There's a negative 3 in front of n here. So, yes, it is. Okay. All right. Write the explicit rule for the sequence. Aha. So the explicit rule for the sequence. If you're wondering how to use the explicit rule, go back to my video titled The Explicit Rule, and it will show you exactly how to do it. The first thing you've got to do, though, is find D. Okay, so D equals, well, if you can't see that it's negative 2 here, you're going to take negative 4, and you're going to subtract negative 2, and that becomes a positive, and it is negative 2. And so our common difference is negative 2. And I'm looking for the explicit rule, so that's f of n equals f of 1 plus d times n minus 1. If you don't write the rule in the test, I'm not worried about that. I'm just writing it out here so you can see exactly what I'm using. What I will require on the test, though, is this part down here. Okay, so f of n equals negative 2 minus 2. So that d is a negative now, right? It's replacing it, and so you don't have to write the extra plus in there. It's not really plus negative 2. We can get rid of that that positive right here. And don't forget your parentheses. Okay. So that's 2 out of 3 points. Now I'm looking for you to simplify. So -2 minus 2n plus 2. If you're wondering how I got positive 2 there, -2 times n is -2, -1, or -2 times -1 is positive 2. And you're going to simplify. And -2 plus positive 2 is 0. So our function is f of n equals -2n. If you wanted to write plus 0 on there, because you want to show that you added 2 and subtracted 2 here, then you could put the 0 on, but I will accept it like that or this. All right, so that's number 4. All right, number 5, we've got find the 10th term in the sequence defined by the given rule. The 10th term. Well, 10th is 10, so I'm asking for you to substitute 10 in for n. So we're going to substitute 10 in there, minus 1. So I've just replaced n with 10, n with 10. And now it becomes a simplification problem. So distribute or subtract first, it doesn't really matter. Since we've been distributing first, I'm going to do that. So it's going to be 15 plus 20 minus 2. And then 15 plus 20 is 35. 35 minus 2 is 33. And so f of 10 equals 33. Okay. All right. Find the next 3 terms in the sequence given. So find the next 3 terms. When they say the next 3 terms and I give you the first one, that means I'm looking for 2, 3, and 4. So if we have our T-chart here, so if I'm talking about a sequence of terms, it's really best to do a sequence, or best to do a T-chart, and we're going to say A sub n. And we are using subscript notation on it. The subscript notation is the same thing as the function notation. We're just using A's instead of the F's with the parentheses, and you can still see there's an n and n minus 1. So in this case, we already know the first term because it says A sub 1 is 1, and then -12. And so now it's our job to find 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to take 2 in there. You remember n minus 1 is, look at the last term. So this really says A sub 2 minus 1 plus 3. Well, 2 minus 1 is 1. A sub 1 plus 3 is, A sub 1, if we look over here, is -12. So this really says -12 plus 3. Well, -12 plus 3 is -9. And if you start seeing this pattern here, again, it says look at the last term. Well, now we're going to take our last term and we're going to say -9 plus 3. So hold on, this one's -9. So we're going to take -9, add 3 to it, and we get -6. -6. And then we're going to take -6, and we're going to add 3 to it, and we get -3. -3. There it is. That's it. That's all she wrote. Okay, number 7. Determine the common difference. Okay, the common difference. So that's the one where we're figuring out what's being added each time. In this case, it's adding 5. Adding 5. And so D equals 5. Find the next 2 terms in the sequence. Well, if you start recognizing that you're adding 5 each time, you could say 21. And then 26, because you're adding 5 each time. So we got 21 and 26. So if you recognize that it's 5, you're adding that 5 each time, and you're just doing it 2 more times. Okay, so the explicit rule for the sequence. So explicit rule, make sure on the test you look up on the board. It's going to be up there for you to review from. The explicit rule is f of n equals f of 1 plus d times n minus 1. Okay, so now you're substituting in your f of 1, and our f of 1 here is 6 plus our common difference of 5 times n minus 1. So we've got 6 plus 5n minus 5. So we're distributing it. And we're going to simplify here. So we have 5n plus 1. Okay. All right, our next one. Write the recursive rule for the sequence. Okay, so the recursive rule, that's the one where we're substituting in f of 1 and the common difference. So got to find the common difference first. So this one we're adding 5 each time. Okay, and so our common difference is 5. So the recursive rule, make sure you look up on the board for the recursive rule. It's f of 1, requiring f of 1, and f of 1 is 10. It's the very first term. Okay, if you can't remember how to find the recursive rule, look at the video titled Finding the Recursive Rule. And then we've got f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus our common difference of 5, and n is greater than or equal to 2. That one's done. Okay. All right, I'm going to post the second half of this in another video. So this is part 1, and you'll see part 2 in a second.